Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. If you are raising a defiant child, the holidays can be an especially hard time. Here with practical ways to alleviate some of the stress, we welcome back Cheryl Quimba. It's so good to see you.
Hi, Hannah. Thanks for having me back.
So we're talking about PDA specifically today. Can you remind us what that looks like?
Absolutely. So PDA stands for Pathological Demand Avoidance, and it's a lesser-known profile on the autism spectrum. And it's characterized by everyday demands or pressures causing an autonomic nervous system response of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Yeah.
And so you'll see a lot of reactivity or shutting down, and just great difficulty kind of doing a lot of things that most kids and people take for granted.
When it makes sense over the holidays when our schedules change and things are less regulated, that it might be extra difficult.
Absolutely, and everything has a cost, so
Yeah.
even the good things, the excitement, the anticipation, all of that creates pressure, and pressure detonates anxiety for our kids.
Can you remind us a little bit about your family story, because you know a lot about this stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. So my daughter is 10 years old, and she is diagnosed as autistic, pathological demand avoidant profile, and we have really spent the last 4, almost 5 years now learning a lot about PDA, supporting other families, creating an accommodating environment where she can thrive.
Amazing. Okay, so let's talk about some ideas that you have for us coming into the holiday season, beginning with kind of resetting your expectations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to say that it starts with a lens shift. We all have an idea of what we think the holidays should be like. It might be colored by what we do or did growing up. It might be what other families are doing around us or what we're seeing on Instagram. And we really have to shift and instead view the holidays through the lens of our child's disability. And we need to look at their needs and say, okay, what's attainable for us where we are? And to grieve that and accept it so we have a good baseline to start from.
Well, and that's a good reminder for all of us, because we're all guilty of that comparison, and your family is different from everyone else, and that's okay, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then how about collaborating with your own kid on how this is going to best work?
Yes, so collaboration is so key for PDA. And asking your child what kind of things they want to do, what kind of things don't they want to do. They're going to give you their opinions. They're going to let you know. One of the things that worked really well for us was my daughter likes to know what Christmas present she's getting. And from which member of the family.
Oh, wow.
And so she knows, I mean, and it's good for learning budgeting and all kinds of stuff.
That's
we
cool,
can really use it as a tool. And for some families, it looks like their kids don't want the presents wrapped, or they don't want to have to wait till the day. They might do it a couple days ahead of time just to relieve that anticipation.
Well, and it makes sense that they're still going to have a good time if you set them up for success. It doesn't have to be under the tree Christmas morning.
Absolutely.
For it to be fun.
And they won't be bummed out when it sucks.
There you go.
Like they're getting what they want.
That's amazing.
So.
Okay, how about communicating your own family's needs and boundaries with the other wonderful people in your life?
Absolutely. Extended families, all of ours, right? We've got great relationships and not so great relationships, and either way we need to communicate those boundaries. So that might look like these are our sensory sensitivities coming into your home. Food preferences. Is there a space set up where my child can take space alone? Or, hey, we might leave early. Or, hey, we might not come. And being okay with that.
It is okay. It is okay. And you mentioned earlier your next tip about choosing gifts.
Yes,
surprises are tough.
They are, and it's what's going to happen. What am I going to get? What am I not going to get? And it really just kind of, and part of autism too is perseveration, kind of getting stuck on something and fixated. So you take some of that away. You take away some of that anxious anticipation.
It makes a lot of sense the way you explain it. And then kind of realizing as well, every family is different. We all have different needs, and making sure that we're making it as easy as possible for everybody.
Absolutely. And this, I think, is especially true for families where you have more than one child and children who are not PDA. When you have a special needs family, you're not going to hit your ideal for everyone. And so the thing that I always say when I'm working with families is we're looking for what's going to cause the least amount of trauma with the most amount of connection. And when we find that sweet spot in the middle, it's not going to be perfect, but we can count that as success, as what's best for our families.
Well, I love that, focusing on connection too, because, you know, as we've talked about all these fun holiday things coming up, that's really the point of the season.
Absolutely, it is. It really is.
Well, and I really appreciate you stopping by and sharing this with us. Have you been amazed with how much you and your family have learned, that you have such better tools now?
Absolutely. I would say that it takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes practice, and it's painful. But where we are today, I wish I could just send a snapshot to me 3 or 4 years ago, because I wouldn't have believed it. It's a wonderful, connected family that we have.
So encouraging. I really appreciate you stopping by. It was
Thank
great
you so
to
much
see
for
you.
having me again. You as
Great
well.
to talk about this stuff. Okay, we'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.